Hi, everyone. It's Nancy Reyes with For Your Canine.
And Joanne Soike with For Better For Worse.
And Lisa Bataska with Canine Defined.
Well, let us know you're out there. Today's topic, which is a topic we've done before, but I don't think, as we were just discussing, you can do enough of it. We're talking about dog play and what it is and what it isn't, and when to step in, when what's normal and what's not. And I know we've talked about it at nauseum before, but I think we still need to be able to um, still rehash and kind of keep looking. So we have a lot of video for you guys today to look at and talk about and all that stuff. So really quickly, what we wanted, what play dogs don't have to play with other dogs. This is just something that when they're young and as social beings, sometimes we introduce that. Or some dogs aren't going to play for their lifetime. They'll be fine with other dogs. Playtime is specifically important with young dogs. So this is not saying that all dogs have to play and all dogs have to enjoy playing with other dogs, but it's part of the socialization we do early on. But for certain breeds, playtime doesn't last forever. For example, shepherds and Dobermans and some of the working breeds,
Boxers.
they play boxers. They play when they're young and they get socially acclimated, but they don't always remain playful and want to play all the time as adults, right? Some do, or some have specific dogs that they like to work with or play with. So, anyway, I wanted to kind of, do you guys find the same thing? Because I know when we were doing daycare, that was a pretty, after a while, you're like, okay, your Boxy is not enjoying this as much as he used to. So let's not do that.
Well, I think like when we work with dogs, there are some dogs that need proper socialization skills. So they need appropriate dogs to play with. And they might always have a small group, but not like a big, you could throw me into a dog park group, right? And
Right.
I think people misunderstand that. And then they flood them and it becomes a problematic. And then you get reactivity, blah, 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 and all the like. But, I think I agree. I think there's like getting to know who the individual dog is and then adjusting to who that dog is and matching appropriately. And I don't think that's done frequently enough. It's like all dogs are expected to be okay with one another, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's important to recognize the style of play, right? So you have, a lot of your herding breeds and sporting breeds are like, you chase me and I'll chase you and let's just run after each other. You introduce a working dog or anything German into the mix, and right, they use a lot of feet and they poke and they swipe and they grab necks and that sort of thing. You get into some of the ratter breeds and things like that, and they really, I'll kill you, now you kill me, now I'll kill you, and so it's a chase and a grab kind of thing. So I think one of the most interesting things about play, and I grew up on National Geographic, right? I loved watching all those shows, right? And when you watch the puppies or the juvenile animals play, it was all about life skills, right?
Mhm.
So how do we stalk? How do we stalk up on something and pounce on it? And how do we pin it down to the ground? And how do we take its legs out from underneath of it? And I think a lot of times with dogs, we forget that genetically that's where play started,
Yes.
is all in the predatory sequence.
Yes.
Right. Absolutely. That's and it's like and those of us that have a variety of breeds in our own homes, play can become a little bit challenging, if you will. If or it could lead to problems if you're not really paying attention to their play style and all that. And also as they mature, like having a adolescent dog at the moment, I'm keeping an eye on how his play style is developing. Does he still enjoy it? Is it still a thing? Because I noticed with my young dog, he's a little bit socially awkward. So he's not super confident around other dogs. He has friends and all that he plays with, but he's not super socially confident. So I keep an eye on it, make sure he stays happy around other dogs, comfortable around other dogs, but occasional playtime is something that we definitely work on a
So
regular.
I'm just curious, like, are you comfortable sharing what you told me about him and Tango?
Oh, sure, sure, yeah. So we always talk about Joanne and I about sometimes how her boys don't get along and all that. Well, I don't have that problem. I have quite the opposite problem.
Yep.
um, they when they get together, they just want to hump each other, or Tango humps the young one, and the young one doesn't seem to mind it.
Yep.
So I never worry about any kind of aggression because that's not really what. And so I think it's overexcitement on the boys' part, and I just and it doesn't seem like, because sometimes I worried that uh, Tango's size would be overwhelming for Mambo, but Mambo doesn't seem to. I take Tango away, and Mambo comes right back for it. So clearly, it's not an issue for him. So yes, all they want to do is um, do a lot of humping and all that. So I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just let it ride out and see what happens, because it's like I usually interrupt it because I don't, I worry about my young dog being overwhelmed, but he doesn't seem to be at all. He seems to want to continue to come be with Tango and hang out with him. So I'm like, okay, well, we'll see. But yeah,
Come on, buddy.
yeah. So yeah, I don't have the issue of having aggression, because I really don't have that. They don't seem to be. It doesn't seem to escalate to that level at all. They just seem to have, a different relationship, I suppose. Versus, Tango would never dream of doing that to either one of my girls, like, ever.
Well, they're girls. Let's say that, right?
Get in the face hurts. But I thought so. I had this conversation with her this weekend, and she had just keep saying, like, right. I keep interrupting it, but Mambo, that's a sign of good play, and you'll see it in some of the videos, right? Is that the dogs don't want to get away. Like, they continue to put themselves into the situation over and over again, which tells you they're having a good time. Now, if you have a dog that's humpy or likes to hump other dogs, a lot of the times it is over arousal, right? And that can lead to bad things. But more so, if a dog does it a lot, right? They can actually strain their lower back muscles. Doing that at that angle a lot repetitively. So I told Nancy, I said, you know what? The next time you have a chiropractor scheduled, I said,
Yes.
the day before, go to town, do your experiment. And then if anyone, strains or hurts themselves, they'll fix it. So
I know, right?
Well, honestly, like
right?
and like when my dogs do it to each other, sometimes the female does it to the male, and she's spayed, and she'll do it to an intact male, and he'll be like, okay, whatever, do your thing. He's also a younger male, intact, versus an older female. So I wonder about the dynamics, but here's the deal. Ultimately, it's like so relative to the individual dogs and the dynamics of that group, whether or not that's acceptable, or they're not taking it as they're not being intolerant about the inappropriateness, right? And I think that's what people miss. But going back to what you guys were talking about with the humping, yes, you're right. I mean, they have back issues and they need to be adjusted because they're just being ridiculous. But I also think that has a lot to do with, like you said, over arousal, because over arousal most often people think is drive. It is not. There's multiple pieces to that. It's only one part of it, and it has to be a healthy amount of arousal, right? But also I think too is that it could be age, like just teenager, right? Like, stop, right? So I get that too, having 3 teenagers and a puppy now, right? With all that craziness going on.
Yeah. No, and it's one of those things that so yeah, I think I'm gonna, because they don't like, I don't see Mambo being upset about it. He doesn't want to be away from him. They want to be together. So I'm like, okay, well, we'll go from there. And Mambo is still, he plays with the other dogs. He plays more with the Beagle, with Rumba. He plays some with Jive, but he's very cautious around Jive, because Jive is very clearly in charge of the group. And so he's very respectful of their interactions and their play. And he always allows her to take the lead, which is very nice. I never worry about them having an issue, because he's pretty savvy, and he gets it right. He's not so. But even when he plays with his friends that he has, he's super not. He's not the most confident one of the bunch, for sure. But he still enjoys, and he's not worried about it, and his confidence around other dogs is better because of it. But yeah, he tends to be a little bit more reserved around that.
Yeah. And before we dive into the videos, because I don't think we have any with like old dogs versus young dogs, which
No.
I wish we should have. But I'll tell you a dynamic. My youngest, Roscoe, he's 3 now, and Fire is she'll be 12 next month, and she's still fiery, and she's got it going on. But he is such the little brother. Like, if she comes up to me to get pets, he'll come over and like put an arm over her back, and he knows full well she's gonna turn around and snap at his face. Right?
Yeah.
It's not serious. Like, she's not gonna get into a fight, but she comes at him like that mean old grandma, like, you know better, don't you do that to me. And and sometimes he'll do it, and you could tell he's on edge, like ready to bounce back, waiting for her to snap at him. Yeah, I'm like,
it's almost a game, right? It's like, I'm gonna mess with you. What do you think of this? How's that? Yeah,
he'll just come right up and like, just poke her, right? And like, she gets so mad. Or even sniff her. Like, if she's laying on her back, like rolling around, he'll sniff her business, and she comes flying up, snapping at his face. He knows she hates it. It's like that little, I'm not touching you.
Yeah.
So he's kind of such a booger to her. Now, there's a lot of people out there, and I have heard the stories, and I just can't tell you enough. There's one difference when it's like a verbal talk, or like they're getting poked, or somebody, does that. But when you have a young dog or an adolescent dog that is truly pushing around a senior, that's not the senior dog. It's not grandma's job to discipline your kid, right? That's mom and dad's job. And so you have to step in and protect your older dog, because
absolutely,
as a dog in double digits, you may think they're spry. You may think that they're still, got it going on. But in the end, I promise you, there's arthritis in there. And so, it's not a figure it out. They'll figure it out. She'll tell him to stop. That's not fair.
Yeah.
So I have a point. So like today, and this is a personal thing, of course, but so my husband went to let dogs out. We're having our deck done. I have a pen set up around the garage door so that they can pee, but they can't go right from the deck to the yard and stuff like that, because that's all ripped up. So he goes to let them out. He comes in and he's got sandals on. Okay. My husband is older. Yes. And they have no backs to them. So he's tripping all over them. So he gets frustrated because, like when we get older, like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm afraid of falling. Like, I am now. I'm old. If I fall, it's going to hurt. Not like when I was younger, right?
You can just pop right back up.
Right? And then you can pop up. I meant to do that, right? But like now, I'm like, oh man, how do I get up from that? That's going to hurt. I'm going to have bruises. And so I get where he's coming from. And so he got so frustrated. He couldn't manage his task with the inability to manage the sandals, right, that have no backs, and he almost tripped. And it's scary when you're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get hurt. But my point is that, right, when you're around younger people, right, now I'm more aware of it as I age, and I'm like, oh wow, that's a lot. There's these young guys outside shirtless, and this and that, and I'm like, I don't care, that doesn't impress me anymore. I'm not 20. But like they're out there and they're doing all this stuff. I'm like, oh my God, I would die if I had to do that. I don't know how he does it. You know what I mean? So those are things you have to realize. Like when you're put up against that situation where you're having struggles moving as quickly as you once used to be, versus, I'm younger and I can bend, I bounce. Like there's a difference. And I think as you age, or if you're in dogs long enough and have young dogs and old dogs, you see that. You really see the difference. So I don't think we give that enough credit to dogs in and of themselves, because they don't speak it, right? They don't speak our language. ouch, that hurts. They just react. And then we punish or look at the dog that's reacting as the one being problematic.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, so dog play, like I said, and also just to preface before we start watching videos, dogs need to feel safe to play.
Yes.
All
Yep.
animals do. No dog is going to play if they're not feeling safe. So that's really an important piece. And again, it's okay if your dog doesn't want to play with all the dogs because they don't have to want to play with all the dogs because it's not something that we don't play with all the people. We just we play with certain ones that we like, right? So it just that's kind of how it works. So okay, so the first video, did you want to show the group play, which was Mambo and all the dogs?
I was thinking about Mambo and Sparkle first
Mambo and
as a
Sparkle?
preface to
Okay.
Yeah, that one, because I thought it was good for to see how they work through that piece, and then group play because there's Sparkle, Mambo, and the others.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So Joanne's
Yep.
She's our technical advisor for today. So
my app broke at the trial today, and I had to fix it while I was being a competitor. So I was like,
No.
I had to ask the right question. What browser are you using?
I turn it on and off.
That was the problem. So, okay. Good to go?
Yeah, make it big. Oh, yeah, you did make it bigger. Never mind. Yes. So this
So
is
that's Mambo and Sparkle, or
it's Mambo and Sparkle.
So Mambo's the lab, Sparkle's the Doberman with the tail and floppy ears, pink color. That one.
Mm-hmm. So Mambo is an adolescent boy, so he's starting to figure out girls smell delicious.
But look at the bounciness, I think. You want to look at it. It's reciprocative. It's back and forth.
Yeah, this is Zippy and this is Zippy
this
and
one bounced to the next one.
Yeah, it's Zippy and Sparkle. So, but that is very, like you said, Lisa, very reciprocative. They have the same play style. Mambo is
Zippy is the lab. I didn't realize they changed. Okay, yes, I see the face now.
Yeah, Zippy.
But see the difference? How old is Zippy here?
Same age as Mambo, like maybe a month younger.
So he's more sociable.
Yeah, he is much more sociable, and he's not so.
Sorry, this keeps bouncing.
Yeah, so let's go to another.
So, did you want to go back to Mambo?
Yeah, and the group play, the group one.
Oh, that's way back.
So do you see?
Sorry, tell me where to stop. Is this the one you want?
Yes.
Well, go ahead and look at. You want the group play? Okay.
Yeah. So this is so you guys, let's slow down. So this is group play. So here you see
Sparkle trying to engage Mambo.
And
Mambo's
Zippy.
like, too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Zippy's like, come on, Mambo.
Yeah. So this is the interesting piece. Do you guys? So pause. Do you think that Mambo is feeling safe in this environment?
No.
Go ahead and play it again, Joanne. That one.
Look at all the avoidance behavior. Mambo is disengaging. Yep. Even Sparkle's like, come on, Mambo, let's play. And Zippy's like, let's play.
Mm-hmm. So this might look like, oh, he's having trouble with the group. No, he's not feeling safe there because I am not there. I am not in his space. Here I am. I am there. I am there with Sparkle
and
Sparkle with all of them, and I am not there with no mommy. So if I am not there, Mambo will not play with any other dogs. He gets all worried about it, and he's not, he doesn't enjoy it as much. So go ahead.
I was gonna say, what I find interesting about this video is what I see here is he's trying to engage, but he's not super sure about Sparkle. And then when she doesn't completely engage with him, he moves on to sort of sniffing and I'm following you, which is like, hey, I'm really interested, but I'm trying not to be too invasive.
Right. And that's how he rolls. And
Mhm.
sometimes when I am at times, he will play very, a lot more with her if she engages him. And sometimes he won't. You know what I mean? It's very for him. It's very safety dependent. How he.
So I also think if we talk about, so is Sparkle still intact?
Yes.
And then he's intact. And I
Yes.
think it's not, I think people have to understand it doesn't like determine like whether or not the dog's okay or not. It's just information, right? It tells you information about who that individual is, where they are sexually, because that makes a difference in terms of teenagers, right? I've seen it. We've all seen it time and time again, where all of a sudden they're like, "Oh my gosh, there was a female that smelled really good today in this area,"
Yep.
and they get super stuck on stuff, and that happens typically in teenage time, right?
Yep. And
If
that's where
they're still intact.
yeah, where Zippy is not interested in that at all.
Right. He's younger. How old is Zippy?
I think Zippy's only I think Zippy is like a month or so younger than. Yeah, I think his birthday's in October.
Oops, sorry.
And so all dogs too mature differently, right? And
Yeah.
so he's more engaged at the head, not the rear, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
And he was also neutered very early, right? He came from a shelter.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good
So
to know. And these are
he's not interested in all the girl stuff. Where Mambo's like, hey, you smell different.
because Mambo is how old?
He'll be 2 in September. So Zippy's a month or so older. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. He'll be 2 in October. So yeah, he's Mambo is a month older because he'll be 2.
So I thought, and then Joanne, if you could grab the group play one with Sparkle, Mambo, Zippy, and Ray, just to kind of show, yeah. And then so with what Nancy said, look at his body language. He's not interested. He's being polite. He's just avoiding. I don't want to engage. I don't want to engage. And I think people like misinterpret some of the stuff. Like, stop and read the dog. Look at the dog. Is the dog okay? Because Zippy is like, come on, let's go.
Yeah. So Lauren says, did you determine his insecurity to play without being present? Yeah, Lauren, yes, it's been an issue since he was a puppy. If I'm there during group play, he'll play fine with the other dogs. If I leave, he does this. So, which is, I'll be honest, it really was upsetting for me at first, but, what are you gonna do? It's who he is. He's kind of so.
I also think though. As long as he's good with his housemates, right? I mean, who cares they play with other dogs or not, as long as they're being appropriate. And then if they're good with their housemates, I'm cool with that. Because Mick is like that.
Yeah, because Mambo plays with Zippy, Sparkle, and Tug on a pretty regular basis, and they're fine as long as I'm there. But yeah, but he's very insecure with dogs if I'm not there. So go figure. If I'm because you know how Zippy grabs his back legs, he's totally fine. If I'm there, he'll play all day long and they'll run around and it's all good. And he tries to get away, come out and look for me. And this is not, and so Lauren, I think he was insecure from puppy because it took him a long time to warm up to play with other dogs as a young puppy in puppy class. So then it took him a little while. Now he's got some usual friends. He's less concerned about other dogs now, and he's more comfortable. But yeah, as far as doing a lot of interaction, he doesn't have a good, he's not super confident around other dogs. And that's not good or bad. I just know that that's kind of how he is. He's not reactive or anything, and he won't hurt another dog, or he's not, but you could tell if he's not comfortable, it's, he just wants to be with me, which for a performance dog is awesome because he won't leave.
I also think you have to recognize that and set things up to help benefit the dog. Put him around appropriate dogs that aren't going to correct him heavily to be like, you're a jerk and stuff like that, to help boost some of his confidence. Otherwise, I think too, like, we can affect a lot of behavior in helping dogs develop confidence in appropriate inappropriate situations. Like, we recognize, oh, my dog doesn't like this. Okay. They don't need to be matched with a bully breed. Like, he would hate it if it was with a dog who was heavy contact, right?
Right.
Physical contact. He'd be like, this is horrible. And
Right.
I need to tell dogs. And then I think sometimes it can create, there could be another result from that, right? Whereby they might become reactive. Don't talk to me. I'm not talking to you, and stuff
Right.
like that. I mean, I've seen that happen as well. We don't advocate for them.
Yeah, and Mambo, like you said, he has playmates. Zippy, he plays with Zippy, Sparkle, and Ray. Not Ray as much, but Zippy and Sparkle pretty regularly. And now the other interesting thing, we Deborah with Zippy and Janice with Tug and Mambo, we did a play date, and Mambo and Tug and Otter, and they played fine, but Tug is also an intact male that's about the same age as Zippy, and he did not love Mambo at all.
Right.
He's like,
He is, and so
not okay with Mambo because he's intact. So, and they were okay when they were younger, but now that they're a little older, not so much.
So I've seen that in him too. So when he comes for school, what we've done is put him more with females, and he
Yes.
does better. He's still inappropriate. He runs up on them and stuff like that. But then he's like, hey, and I have to put him with, he has to be with confident females who are going to be like, all right, you're really stupid and I need to kick your butt. Right.
Yes.
So then he doesn't get that bad exposure because he's still very sensitive.
Yeah.
Right. And receptive to like things if it's super what's the word I'm looking for? Just things that concern him.
Yeah.
So, because he's in that stage of it. But
Mhm.
yeah, he's done better. But yeah, I remember the first time he came out and there was a bunch of dogs out. He came out, his tail was high,
Mhm.
and then they approached him, and then like staff high, like a really high. And then they approached him and he peed and walked around stiff legged and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, well, okay. We'll have to help that a little bit.
Yeah. And yeah, Lauren, you're right. The poor dogs that drop up daycare without the owner. Yeah. Yeah, like my dog would not be a good candidate for daycare because he would not enjoy it. Although, if I am gone, if I'm away, because Lisa's taking care of Mambo as a young dog, and he was okay. He was not as he was a little more, but he was a lot younger. But I think if I'm gone, where I'm not there at all in the building, probably be okay, and he'd probably be comfortable that way.
Yeah, and
versus me being around the corner in another area of the space, right?
and this is something like I hate to bash daycares because there are some
Yeah.
decent ones. Like they're not common, right?
No.
Most daycares, there are way too many dogs to people. There are fights every day. You will never know. If your dog doesn't have a mark on it, you will never know if your dog was,
In an altercation.
pushed around or in an altercation or somebody's bullying your dog. You'll never know that ever.
Nope. Nope.
And I mean, it's when you think about, like, if you were going to send your kid to preschool, and they're like, we don't do any naps. I mean, we just kind of let them run around the room and play and do whatever they want. I mean, we watch, make sure nobody dies, but like
Right.
the kids will work it out. I mean, that sounds insanely ridiculous, but that's how most daycares operate. So bad habits all over the place. And
Yeah.
I've seen more privates come to me for reactivity and
Yes.
dog fear issues because they sent them to daycare 1 years and 1 year old and below. So I'm not knocking every daycare. Again, I'm
Yeah.
sure there's some good ones out there. They're just not as common as the not so good ones.
Yeah.
Well,
And that's true because it's like it takes, and as they get, when they're young is one thing, but when they get older, and I don't think some of the daycares make those adjustments as they get bigger. Don't you agree, Lisa? Because I know you do.
Yeah.
Not that you're
I mean,
daycare,
well,
but your play.
yeah, I don't do daycare because of that reason, right? I don't want
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to set people's expectations that I'm going to let your dogs run until they drop and then they come home and they're just dead and you're happy because they're not out of your hair. Like, I do that. To us, it's very orchestrated because, we all know that we can help raise dogs to help them learn better skills, better life skills, better understanding of appropriate dogs, if you have those dogs that are available to you, it's one of the reasons why I pick the type of dogs I do. And now I'm gonna, it's just it's important to me that I have dogs that are like who they are. Like I know my Dutch Shepherd, for example. She's weird with puppies. She's like, I don't like puppies. They're inappropriate. With my new puppy, Papillon puppy, Wolfie, he doesn't even mess with her. He's just like, no, she's a big crab. Don't even look at her. She's going to yell at me and show me her teeth. And he's like, I'm leaving. So he's learned to avoid her. So I think what's important is that, like in daycare, the problem is that there's communication going on, but unless you actually recognize body language, you're not going to know for sure what's happening and be able to trust those people to help shape your dog's future, because that's what this is all about, right? It's no different than trying to shape a good child to be a good member of society. It's also dogs. And I think we underestimate the power that people hold in terms of people that we trust to care for our dogs. You know what I mean? So,
Yep. So, hey, Joanne, could you play the Sparkle, Roomba, Mambo, Letty video? So these
Yep.
are and again, these are very short videos, snippets, because we also did the other day. Not that these are the only short play sessions, but we do try to keep our play sessions relatively short to make sure not as short as this, but the play sessions are a bit shorter. So these are this is Sparkle and Mambo, and then my Beagle, that she's the oldest of the group here, and Letty, who is he's 6 months, maybe in this 5 months, maybe in this particular video. The little shepherd is a baby puppy. And the puppy, yeah, this is the first time. So you see that, you see the
and then he seeks social support to like, oh, I don't know, it's a little scary, but what do
right,
you think? Right.
yeah.
So
So
the coming by you and standing and holding position to see what's going to happen is
right, and then and this is this is exactly right, right. In this case, they ran around. The Beagle is trying to play, but my Mambo's being a big butthead. But yes, he came for
so
social support,
Sparkle.
and then eventually, yes, and then eventually
Play with
and then
us.
yeah,
He's
when you
stupid. He doesn't want to play how we.
yeah, yeah. So you when you want to so with the puppy, you see the puppy was getting, now the puppy's a little older, and this is where ages are important. So this he wasn't upset. He just came for social support. He got it from his handler, and then he was trying to get in there. And towards the end of this play session, actually, it worked out pretty well. But he got more confident. But this is where structured is so important, as Lisa says. You know what I mean? It's like you've got to make sure it's very clear. And that could have, if that wouldn't have been a structured play session, it was much shorter, and we made sure that he was okay. And now he was more comfortable with my Beagle because she was smaller. Now he's a lot more comfortable with Sparkle and Mambo because they're a lot together, right?
So there's another super interesting part of this video that I want to.
Yep.
Sorry, that I want to point out. So if you watch Mambo the Black Lab's really kind of into the Beagle, right? And here we get a takeoff, and he comes charging in.
Yep.
And he's actually pretty careful about his body right there. He could have slammed into her and ran her right over.
Yeah,
he doesn't, right?
No.
He sort of makes some contact, but it was real gentle. And so I'm sure you've seen those play videos where some dog comes flying in and like, knocks that dog into next week, right? Which is super rude. But even though he comes in and kind of blocks her, he's doing it super gently.
Yeah, he is.
So,
because he doesn't want her to spank him.
Well,
yeah,
you have history there, but I mean,
yeah,
he's learning really good play skills
Yes.
there
Mhm.
as a dog, right? Like, don't run over dogs and don't push dogs out of the way. And, do your best if you're coming at full speed to like lean the other way and don't run over a dog.
Right.
So I think that's really good learning from,
Yes.
Roomba, a little bit more of an adult to, kind of an adolescent young dog.
Yeah, because he is, and that's kind of Mambo's style. He's very mindful about how he plays and how it's set up.
And is that part of, and then the question becomes, is that because of his lack of confidence?
I think so.
Or is it kinesthetic? Yeah, right. Or is it kinesthetic awareness or spatial awareness, right? Or is it a combination of both, right?
Well,
I mean,
he's not very kinesthetically aware with me.
that's what I'm saying. Well, when he's comfortable, when he feels safe, he's much more pushy, he's mouthy, he's right. So, and those are big tells, I think people don't understand. Like they don't, and yes, there's a difference between how a dog relates to a person, their social tolerance for people versus other dogs. But I also think that there's something to be said with the dogs that are more pushy with people versus dogs that are less pushy with other dogs. So.
Yeah, because he's not pushy with other. Well, like he'll be pushy with Zippy and Sparkle at times, but it's not sustained for long periods. He'll have moments of woohoo of that. So I wanted to actually look at play styles. Can you do the Rumor and Tango video, Joanne? And then we'll go to the Shibas.
Yeah.
So this is this is two shepherds, same breed, playing, right?
German takedown of the home sign.
This is what so I haven't watched this one yet, but I'm just guessing, right? This is where you start to see like, oh my God, my dog would hate that.
Yeah, no, I don't know if this is one of their roughest play sessions. But a lot of chasing going on here, which is unusual. Just because.
So how old?
Well, Rumors
age,
like,
sex.
I think Rumors almost is like 3-ish, and Tango's 7 or 6 in that picture in that video.
And they're both intact.
They're both intact. Yes.
Okay. A female is Rumor, and Tango's the male. Right?
Yeah. So a little bit of stalking behavior. Yep.
But look at the space. Considering they're German, I'm like a little shocked. Yeah. Quite honestly, because usually I'm used to them running. But I guess also that has to do with age as well, right? So they're both older. They're both socially mature. And they understand, because of the history they've had, how to engage each other in a safe and appropriate way.
Yep. They do.
But if you were teenagers, they
German takedowns, but you know.
Right, but it's not as frequent as the teenagers, right?
No,
you see all that.
It's occasional, right?
Yeah, right.
And it's more, if it's possible,
reciprocative.
Yep, and more gentle, if you can believe it.
Exaggerated, like I'm going to kill you.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
Super slow.
A little bit of flirting there with the little stalking behavior on both their parts, which is pretty normal. And Tango does have a lot of stalking behavior. Lots.
He's like, I can't run that fast.
I know.
Rumors a lot more. Yeah, Rumors way faster than he is. So yes,
I'm coming.
Well, he's smaller than him.
Yeah,
more maneuverable. He's so big.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, it's like running, like having a Mack truck running. All right, then compared to the Shibas.
Okay, let's go back a little bit. Sorry, let me get. There we go. Do we have a preference for which one? Or
with that one.
One and then 2. Yeah, 1
and 2. Yeah.
So these guys are a lot of physical contact.
But it's not harsh. It's not as forceful. It's like it's like a tag. Tag you're it, ba 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 ba. Tag you're it, ba 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 ba. Right.
Yeah. So go ahead, Joanne.
I was gonna say, Nancy showed me this video last night, and I said, I don't know that much about Shibas, and I said, what were they for? Were they like ratters or hunt little small rodent hunters and I would say rabbits and something else?
Yeah, they're hunting. They're bred to
that one.
Rabbits and so they're hunters, so they play very terrier like we were talking about.
Yeah, so like if you really break this down, you get like, I'm gonna kill you, oh no wait, and then you get the rear up, like I'm gonna pounce on you, which is like you see like the foxes, right, that like the Arctic foxes, right. I'm gonna pounce on you, right, like that big rear up.
role reversal where the one flipped over and it's like, you
Yep.
got me. Okay, your turn. They pop up right away. But you're right. I mean, but play should be or is a rehearsal of some of the predatory behavior, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yep. And
It
you
just shouldn't
watch,
be
right?
over exaggerated.
yeah.
It's like, all right, your turn to die. Now I'm gonna attack you. All right, now I'm gonna hit you.
You got me.
Now your turn. I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Oh, you got me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just so really nice back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
They're each taking the turn to be the aggressor and the the one that gets to die. And then what I think is funny about the end too, as it gets there, like, because it gets kind of intense in play, it's building, and then the one dog's like, oh, I need a minute. I'm gonna go for a run.
Yeah.
Take a
And
break.
I also think, I don't think we see enough of healthy, appropriate play.
No.
I don't think we see that. I think we see over arousal and pushiness and forwardness and bad behavior building, so to speak.
Yeah, no, these guys are really great. I mean, it was really good. And you're right. Joanne's like, he was like, okay, this is a lot. And
Yeah, but look at how hard the bite is on this one. Like, oh, he goes, ow. Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
And that wasn't, is the one standing there an older dog?
Yes, one of them is older.
It looks
Yes.
like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can totally tell the older dog, right? He's like, all right, kid, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
And so these are two youngers, same family, obviously. And the little red one is a new little addition to the family, and it's a female, and she's a little bit younger there.
And she's trying to engage. They're like, you don't know our game. Go away.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You have no idea.
I'm going to get
Like,
you.
I'm trying to be part of this. I can play, and the other one's like, no, you're no good.
Yeah. And you look at the hesitation. So the little red one, right, comes in when she finally catches up to
That
this
one
one over
there.
here.
Yeah.
She has a little like, okay, I'm going to get you. And then as soon as the other one runs in, she's like, okay, I don't know now.
Yeah.
I'll
And
tell
it's
you,
pressure
I'll
with
tell-
the second dog.
right. And I'll tell you, the one that probably laid down was the older one.
Yeah,
I'm
probably.
guessing, right?
Yes.
Because the other one's like, man, that's a lot of running for me. Like me, like, you're running. And then she's like, I got you, right? And he's like, no, you don't count. It's funny.
Yeah.
So
And-
the other one,
And she's new to the family. I mean, she's been there a while, but I think they've very much embraced her. But yeah, I think in this case, they were still just trying to figure out. She's just trying to figure out her spot in the whole. They get along well, lovely, and which is nice, and all that. But in the play, she's still trying to figure that out, right?
So I thought would be interesting if we could look at the puppy play with Sarah's class.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
because these are all dogs that are different. And this is what happens. And, I mean, like when people get together to engage, like you have to be able to read the pups.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's okay. We're cool.
Yeah, Sarah's class. There, that one.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a really short video, which.
So, and these are two dogs that are bred for different purposes, which I think it's like two people trying to maneuver a conversation and trying to come to the same point, but they speak different languages to some degree. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because this is a shepherd puppy. It looks like, and the other one
and some sort of a mastiff or something.
probably. And
good social. I mean, the puppy was pretty good. He backed off. He's like, "How about if I jump on you? Okay, is that okay?" And he backed off. And the mastiff is like, "I'm comfortable on the ground."
Yeah, and that's the other thing we want to talk about. Like you see with their puppies, from a physical standpoint, they don't have the ability to maneuver and get up and move around the way a more adult dog does. So it's going to be more awkward play. And I think people get pretty worried when they see that the dog's laying down or doesn't get up, or, and a lot of times it's physically tough for them to be able to do that. So you got to give that,
They're like Gumby.
I also say, but I'm also going to throw at you the devil's advocate. I also think that people who are breeding litters, regardless of who they are, need to be teaching these dogs appropriate footing and proprioception, understanding how their bodies
Yeah.
work. Because I've seen some puppies who are sloppy in terms of movement, and then I
Yeah.
wonder how much they got as puppies
Yes.
versus, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I find, like, I'm surprised at how agile. Arousal is a different story, but how agile one of my mini Aussie is from Canada, right? Because he's more he gets his feet, but when he gets excited or aroused, he'll like move faster and don't think about it, but he's still agile, right? It's kind of interesting. But I do think that's a piece of it too.
Yeah, and how much that was done. So now I wanted to look at the video of Rumor and Bubba one, and then do them in order, Joanne. So I wanted this time you guys are going to tell us a little bit of what you see. So just play the first video on the with those two dogs,
Okay, hang on.
and we'll quiz you guys, see what you guys think about it, right? And what does it look like to you? Because really got to think, really got to look at it.
So what do we got here? Young Shepherd and
They're about the same age. He's a little older. They're both adult dogs.
adult dogs. Okay.
Yeah, both adult dogs.
Okay.
So stop that one. So look at that one again, the first one. So we'll stop that. What do you think, guys? What did you notice? Anything? And don't be shy. This is kind of how this is how we learn too, because we do that with each other. Lisa,
Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can do that. Just while we get stuff.
Yep. Boom.
This is in slow mo. So, right off the bat, what do you guys notice about that interaction? So we'll have the boy is yellow collar, the girl is pinkish collar, I believe.
The girl's holding the toy, right?
The girl's holding the toy. So what are you thinking? What do you notice right off the bat on either dog? Doesn't matter. You know, what do you observe? Because this is how, you guys, this is how we get better at observation, right? This is how we get better, by putting it out there, because lots of times we don't trust what we see. And
Teasing with the toy. Someone said teasing with a toy. Mary did.
okay.
Is it teasing or is it an invitation or testing or asking, right? The girl in control of the game. Liz said floppy feet, both relaxed, okay with interface. Boy is trying to engage, entice girl to play.
So play it again, Joanne.
It is. You can't see it?
Yeah, now it is. There you go.
Okay.
So stop it right there. So
I think it's an invitation, but he seems unsure exactly how bold to be.
Yep.
and that is closer to the caution. That's great, Sue. Sue, nice work. But yeah, so that's the first thing. So replay that section again. So one of the things what about this right there? Stop it there. What about this section tells you he's unsure?
He stopped and she kept moving away with her back to him.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, keep playing.
Right. Then she's turning to say, is this okay? And he's like, nah, I don't know.
Look at this right here.
Yeah, so you guys see that so that's why when you look at it,
And then look at his position too with her
Right.
spinal alignment, the alignment of the spines, right?
Yep.
So he's looking away.
He's a
She's
little
like,
bit-
hey. He's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Knowing Rumor though, she's kind of being she knows that she can push this guy around, I think.
A little bit.
But she won't. She's like,
And-
I'm being respectful.
This is actually pretty interesting to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think playing off of a little bit of Lisa, she's like, you're a little bit not sure. Take that.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, because it could just be a regular pee. It could be. But based on watching this interaction already, I kind of think she's like, I'm going to take this yard. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep, this is my yard.
my
house.
yard.
All right, so next video.
All right, let's find. Oh, wait, it's up here. 2, right? I want 2.
And then the
Sorry.
stop and pause again, right?
Yeah.
So this is.
There's
regular,
a lot of
do
stop.
we want it regular speed first, or do we want to watch
regular
this on half speed?
first. Regular speed first. That's good.
Okay. In case you guys didn't know, YouTube has this playback speed to it. It's amazing if you're wanting to check out dog behavior videos.
There's a lot of when the pause. I think what you also have to pay attention to is the pause. Is it frontal? Is it neutral? Or is it back? Right. And in his case, he does a lot of shifting back on his way. Right there was kind of like don't.
Yes.
That was a don't even think about it.
That was the second don't even think about it. Yep.
That's correct.
Yep. So
she's like,
okay.
Noted. Noted.
Okay. Get my toy.
But so you see, time after time, you see a lot of avoidance behavior on the boy's part.
Yep.
He's not. She is trying to engage him some, but he's very clearly not.
Sure.
He's not sure, and he's more lot more avoidant behavior, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So
Let's go back.
go to
Watch it a little slower.
No, he doesn't.
So
Lauren.
first, the first thing is people think this will be a play bow. I think it's more of a kind of a startle response.
And why? Watch. So Joanne, go back and pause it. So the reason, and Joanne's 100% right here. The paw, it's not a play bow. That is not a play bow. She's absolutely right. Watch the stiffness in those front legs.
Yeah.
See that? So a play bow is very. This is a pretty hard line on the dog. Very, very hard, and he's really straight on that front, right? So you guys play bow, and if you watch the Shibas, their play bows were so different. They were so much more relaxed and not really stiff, and they were more fluid. This is not.
Well, look at his whole body, not just if you look at the front,
Exactly.
even look at his back end, the
Everything.
angulation of the
And
it's hard,
you
and
can
then
sort of
he's ready
see-
to move.
She looks like a roller coaster a little bit, like wee.
Right.
Right. Everything's kind of together and soft. He's like, all the angles are sharp here.
Yep.
She's like,
And then you get stillness, right?
Yep.
Where she's
Stillness.
moving.
And she gave a look away, like, "Hey, relax, man."
there
And he's
and back again. He's like, no. How about
Right.
a play? I don't know. That's too much.
Yeah.
And then the
so
butt
then
tuck and move away. Yeah.
This would be my first. He's like, I don't like that. Please stop.
yep.
Right.
Right. And she's like, oh. Then it happens again. And he's like, seriously,
Right there.
I'm done. Look at how still.
And then look at the
stiff.
paw lift, and he's
She's like,
curved.
"I'm outta here."
Yeah.
It's so hard.
And
Yeah.
she read it really well. She's like, let me give you some space there, buddy.
Yeah. She read it super well. So
Yeah.
so if this, so for me, I would have, because remember, you guys, you want to prevent any kind of this. The boy dog has already let her know that this is not. He's not comfortable with that. So this would have probably been a great time to pause and give him a break, and then try again later, because already the boy dog is already telling he's getting more, lot more stiffness more often,
Yep.
is happening there. So he's very his discomfort is more
She
is
yawns,
yeah,
right? Hey, chill out, dude.
yeah,
And
relax.
she didn't take space. She's rocked. She's like she's
Yep,
yielding space a lot.
yep,
Nice,
So
gentle
she's
tail
reading it
flick,
really well.
yep,
right? Like
yep.
he's like, still no.
No.
So right, this is where they were playing so nicely, and a fight came out of nowhere. He said like five
No.
times now, like don't I don't want your toy. Look at he looks like a statue.
Yep.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
she
Again,
bounced up to him. She's like, "Hey," he's like, "Still not okay," like you
Yeah.
said. And then he's like, "Okay." But that's the back and forth. She's trying, but I think he's just
Right.
not savvy enough to handle that kind of pressure because he's clearly not comfortable or confident around other dogs.
Right. Right.
Does he have any health issues, like back end issues?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I don't believe so.
Just how he seems a little protective of his rear and
Yeah.
he muscles up on that rear. And I wonder,
I don't know. Yeah, but
like
see, lots
if
of
we got sorry, if we got a snip and a snark at the end here, I would not be surprised at all.
Mhm.
Like when she comes around, like, come on, buddy. If he snapped at her, I would fully expect that.
yeah.
And she deliberately avoided him. She's like, "Oh, sorry, don't mean to touch you." Ah, right? She's like sliding past him.
Yes.
So funny.
So let's see.
Because she does have lots of really good. Let's see number 3.
For a
Yeah, this is,
shepherd.
hold on, I'm gonna put it back to
Yeah, she
radio.
does have very very good doggy skills for sure.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
She tries
No,
hard.
She has great. No, she has great skills.
She's like, here, does this
She's
help?
like, "I just want friends." You can sniff if you want. Check it out. Most people like it.
But yeah, see already another one. Nope.
And like
Nope.
this is the just the perfect when
Yeah.
you see this and it happens fast.
Yeah.
So he's kind of moving, he's kind of doing this, and as soon as she comes up, stop, freeze.
Yep.
Yep.
Right? It's like that. Do.
You read it that quick, right? She's like,
Yeah.
"I gotta go. See ya."
Yeah, yeah, she did. She did. So you guys, that's why these are, and that's why if like Joanne says, it would be surprising if there was a little situation between them. I don't know, but it wouldn't be shocking in that way, because he's told her multiple times, and he's very clearly not comfortable with that situation. So, and he's
Yeah. Patty Simcox really wants him to join the cheerleading squad.
yes. That's right. Rumor Patty Simcox. And go, let's go. And he
It's like,
goes,
come
no.
on, it'll be fun.
And he's like, no.
Still
it
no.
ain't. It's still
How
no.
still, you guys. Look at he's stiff as a statue.
Tails up. Mhm.
Yeah. So
It's the whole body too, right? Don't look at just the tail. Look at the entire situation of what's happening.
because he's very clearly that was very clearly, he was just not comfortable. And Rumors used to have, she has play dates, she plays a lot with other dogs. So
I mean,
like,
how
I
many
don't know if
seconds is this? He
yeah,
hasn't moved.
yeah, yeah,
Right.
Like, what are we at? 52?
yeah.
I mean, if you watch this, kind of.
Well,
This
a
is-
lot of the time is spent being still, right? And
Yeah.
This is a long time.
that's your red flag.
Yeah. So stillness
And-
is never great. Like even especially in dog play. And when you start seeing stillness, just give them a break, right? It's not a big deal. Give them a break. You might try it again another time. Take that pressure off the dog, right? So
Yeah.
So Lauren said, so it could be more of a problem if the other dog was not interpreting
Yes.
what he was.
oh
He was-
Absolutely.
yeah, and that is a true statement,
Would
because
have had a fight for sure.
because the shepherd read it and gets it.
Wrapped
There was
off.
right? No issue happened. Nothing happened. Versus
So
the shepherd read, but you're right, Lauren. If this was a dog that didn't read those signals well, oh boy,
It would be a problem.
we would have had a
But
major.
you would have seen it earlier on than this, right? They both kind of have a long wick, only because the shepherd's reading it well, right?
Yes.
Rumour's like, I get it. And are you sure? Okay, I'll stop.
Yeah.
How about now? How about from over here? How about 5 feet away, 10 feet away? Is that okay? No. And she's trying
What
to
if I have
sift
my
and
toy?
sort.
Yeah.
Right. What if I let you smell my private area?
She's
right?
trying
That type of
everything.
stuff.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
he's like,
right.
no. Well, and if you remember the video with Tango, they the play bow was more soft and squishy, right? Like the Shiba's play bow, soft
Right.
and squishy play bow. There wasn't that hard stillness piece to it, right? Because with Tango they did a play bow, but it was very bouncy, very like, okay, yay, run, and it was very fluid. And yes, Tango will never catch her, so there's a lot of emotion behind that, because he's never going to be, she's so fast, there's no way he's going to ever catch her.
I think as a takeaway from all this, and I hope we do more of these, because I really like the video analysis stuff. But that's me personally, because watching dogs, it's not hard. But I think that the one big takeaway is that I see people who say, "Oh, he just needs to be corrected because he's being inappropriate," and they let the dog get beat up on,
Yeah.
right? And because they think they're learning a lesson, and I think that that's not fair. I think you have to understand. Play should be reciprocative. It should be back and forth. It should be bouncy and curvy, not stiff and still and jumping at or yelling at or ganging up on. And so that's what I see commonly with stuff like that. And I think as trainers or people who really care about the behavior and safety of dogs, that we really try, the three of us at least, try to get to a point where we are where we want to help get the dogs good skills and recognize if a dog is not a dog that's interested in playing with other dogs. I'm a homebody. You can ask anybody who knows me. What time do I go to bed? At 7. So this is like late for me, right? So
Grandma.
those are some, I know. Mom and grandma, I'm fine. But, so you're not going to change some of that, but you want to work within
Right.
helping that individual define or have better skills in terms of learning how to read dogs and kind of not be bullied, That's why
Right.
I'm not a fan of dog parks and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
So hey, Joanne, could you real quick? Could you play the Bam and Bliss video?
The running
Oh,
one
that's
or the
The
shorter
running one, the running one. So
Yeah.
these are two different breeds of two different breeds with their play.
And it's a really, I will just tell you, it's a really funny combo. She doesn't like dogs that behave this way.
No.
But
But
she's
she loves
tolerating
him.
it for him.
So
You see, same like Tango. She's very
She's a
fast.
little like, I don't know, but you're so big and handsome.
Yeah. But she totally owns him. See?
He walks up. He's like, how about this? I love you.
So
But he knows how much to push too, right?
yes,
yes.
He's not pushing too much. He's like, I like you, right? And mind you, she's Bliss is a spayed female, correct at this point?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
And then Bam is an intact male.
Yep.
There you go.
And you see but see, this is a different stillness because he's not that still.
Yes.
They're
just
soft
like-
and still, right?
there's still softness there, yeah. And
It's kind of like, let me catch my breath. Okay.
and this is
There you
not the game he likes, but it's the game she likes.
Yeah.
So
Now, here's the other thing I'll tell you, and this is where sometimes it matters. If I was to introduce a toy, nope, he would go after her.
Yeah.
As much as he loves her, nope.
but this is
And
she's
look at how
totally-
much space he's yielding, to
Yep.
her. He's like,
Yep.
I get it. You're uncomfortable, but I want to play with you. So how do we play together where it's
and she's
uncomfortable?
she is running this game.
Yep.
Yeah.
She is absolutely running it.
And then this one's a little shorter, but it sort of tells you how kind of molestery he can be. So he's like, how about now? No.
Hi. Hello. Nope. Just looking. Just checking.
And
Oh,
She's
look, a
like,
squirrel.
get away.
Look at her. He chest bumps him. It's like, you
Yep.
can't do that, man. Stop
I
it.
just want to smell your lady parts. That's all I want to do. But it's funny. I just how like big and broody he is, and she's pretty small compared. She's half his size, and he's pretty gentle with her.
She goes, don't
Just
kill me.
kidding. And he did a bark too as he walked.
He did.
Come on. He's like, come
Don't do
on,
that.
what the heck?
He goes, don't do it, man.
No, still no.
Yeah.
So,
Funny.
so that was a good example of, you know, the in this case, Bliss was in charge of the game, and Bam was more than happy to play it the way she wants it. And he was not unhappy. He was having a great time, even though that's not how he would typically want to play.
no.
But he was happy to oblige her and play the way she was, she wanted to.
If he can get some lady bit sniffs in, he's like, you just say the name and I'll wait my turn.
Yes, and because Jive wants no parts of him.
No.
He tries, and Jive's like, no. No to the no at all. You don't get to.
And so it was funny.
Time of day, but
it was funny because Bam and Jive did play a little when they were younger.
Yeah.
But now, like Nancy and I saw early on, because Jive likes to use her mouth to, get the message across. And he is a dog who he'll take a lot from a girl, right? He'll take a lot, not from a boy, but from a girl, he takes a lot if it's well meant, right? Yeah. If he's messing with her and she's like, I said no, he's like, okay, geez, right? But if somebody comes at him, just rude about it, he's like, no, now I'll come back at you. So he's very temperamental that way. I have to be very careful with, who he plays with. So just because it's fine with one
is not okay.
Oh no, he totally liked the last 3 dogs he played with. Well, what was the story? What were those dogs like? How many skills did those dogs have? So I think those are the things that you have to really consider. If it doesn't go well with one dog, don't make an assumption that, your dog doesn't like other dogs. But if it doesn't go well with 4 dogs of different styles and types and ages, then you might be leaning towards don't do play dates.
Anyway, you guys, we're kind of past time, and I think we'll do another because we still have a bunch of more videos. But these are just great. Yeah, Mary, the Shebas, kind of rocked it out. They were great. Really good information there. But those are the Sheba, the play bows. You look at just dogs with play bows. They're not all created equal, and you see so many different things with that, right? A lot of information, and you can feel the unsuredness because that, some dogs that are not comfortable with that. So it's really, you just watch dogs play and watch watch kind of what that looks like. You learn so much from that. So anyway.
And I think too, also, like we talked about, there's genetic differences in how they engage. So I would be interested to see, I have Papillons and Deerhounds playing, and you don't see a lot of Deerhounds. I think it's very fascinating because I'm like, someone's gonna die. It's a lot of legs, so, but it's interesting to see the difference. And I have a video of the two Deerhounds and a bully playing, which is very cool, interesting how they adjust to each other. So
we'll definitely do another one of these for sure, guys.
So, and I'll just mention too, if you have a breed that's like Shebas, right? I mean, they're not as common of a breed. Watching that was interesting, I think, for all of us, because we don't really see that breed a ton, especially not like playing in yards. And Lisa called me because she was had these Deerhounds. Now, I actually my aunt had a Deerhound, so I know how they play because I grew up with one around the corner. And
to the wall. That's my
thing. You're gonna die. I'm like, they're not though. They have they bend really well. And she's like, I swear to God, they're going to run into a tree. I'm like,
well, not these two. These two are very young and they still have legs for miles. But yeah, it's interesting. I know. I was like, they're going to break something. So
if you have any videos of play that you aren't sure about or you want us to review, absolutely shoot those in, and we can use your videos on the next one. So,
yep, awesome. All right, have a good night. Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.